together a couple pieces. The first piece is a forest out of juniper nana, and the trees are going to consist of little tiny uprights. So it's going to be kind of different from your usual forest Saike. The stones that I'm using is actual lava, so pot rock, Mexican bull rock, and you can source that at like any landscape nursery supply. Yeah. We're gonna be the design. It's kind of influenced by y'all seen Kimura's angled forest, the mountaintop forest. So it's going to be kind of similar. So the upright trees are going to come up this way, and it's going to plant all the way down into the pot. It's a nice deep pot, so the composition itself, it'll get really healthy. Yeah, I could do it into a shallow pot, and it'll probably look a lot nicer. But this one, it just gives the overall piece better growth and health.
Jason, how did you get the rock to sit up like that?
I just glued them. Yeah, while they were talking, I glued it together. And what I used to glue it is, this is Portland cement and sand and cyanoacrylate, which is crazy glue. So the crazy glue is fast acting and it's thin, so it's like water. And the Portland cement is very fine. It's like flour. So what I do is I hold the two stones together with the best contact points, meaning that they touch. You put a little bit of the Portland cement in between, and then a thin layer of the crazy glue over. And what happens is that the crazy glue kind of wicks into this, and it's instant. So it really quickly forms a bond. And what you do is you keep doing that over and over and over. Then you flip to the other side, you do the other side, and after a while, they're bonded as one, and it's very, very strong.
What is the ratio of cement to
It's a 60-40, 40 sand, 60 Portland cement. For this project, I'm using the Portland cement. Sometimes I use tufa stone, which is a lighter color, white, and in that case, I just use mortar mix, no sand. And they both hold the same. Yeah. The reason why I like using mortar mix is because the color matches. Because what happens when you glue the pieces together, that's the glue seam right between the rocks, yeah? You see it's gray. And when you put the super glue on it, it also gets darker. So with a lighter color stone, the seam really, sticks out. So if I use a mortar mix, which is a lighter color, it doesn't stick out as much.
You anchor the stones to the pot.
Yes, yeah. So I generally use cheaper production pots. I wouldn't use like an antique Chinese pot for this. And I just kind of cement it into the pot. The reason why I do that is the pieces of this one especially is going to be very tall, and the center of gravity is going to be high. So when you pick it up, it'll be wobbly. It won't be very stable. So if you anchor it firmly into the pot, you don't have that problem. If I were to be doing a more expensive pot, you could drill holes, anchor screws, and tie it into the pot, putting like rubber in between, just to protect the pot. But I like doing it this way better because it's more permanent. Yeah.
So Mitch, this looks like a black pine, is that correct?
Yes, it's a black pine. Tom Chen gave us, I think, I don't know, over a dozen, maybe as many as 15, 16. And they're pretty healthy. They have great bark, great branch lines. This one probably hasn't been worked in a while, so the branches have grown up more upwards, and to give more age, I'm going to bring the branches down. I'm also going to change the angle. I think that the tree is a little boring from the front, as is, so I'm going to change it to here where we'll get some movement in it.
Awesome. Pat everything back out, kind of make it back into the shade tree almost. Perfect.
And next year, someone will repot it. Not me.
Do you think you're going to take the entire 4 hours today, you think?
Yeah, if I do, there's enough to do detail work on this. I could probably keep busy, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Bob, what's our victim today?
Say what?
Who's our victim today?
I don't know, but somebody compared me to Dexter, so I'd be careful. It might be good.
Dexter?
Dexter,
Oh.
the serial killer corner guy.
Yeah. Looks like an old California juniper.
Yeah, it's a California juniper from the Honeydew collection that apparently Ryan Neal styled several years ago, a number of years ago now, I would guess. Big old tree. It's been way overgrown. Needs a new restyle. And as much as I admire Ryan and think he's like probably one of the better bonsai artists in the country, I'm going to completely change his style ideas.
Nice. All right.
It may just be because the tree is completely overgrown, but it's probably because we all see things differently.
You're gonna try to do the angle again? It looks like you kind of moved.
No, I changed the angle a little bit, but I'm going to change the front.
Ooh, that'd be fun. See the live vein on the side?
This is going to be the front.
Okay.
It was a little bit of a hard decision because the deadwood is way better on the other side. If I did it,
But you don't see the live vein on the other
you don't
side.
see the live vein. The tree kind of feels really unbalanced. It's got leaves falling on the pot. And I'm sure that's something that's happened over the years after Ryan styled it. I know for sure that when Ryan finished on this tree, it was stable in the pot. It didn't feel like it was going to fall out. It's probably been repotted at least once or twice since then. Maybe the angle has changed or something. I don't know.
You think 4 hours is more than enough, you think?
What's that?
About 4 hours good enough?
To do this?
Yeah. Awesome. All
That's
right.
what I got.
Timer's on.
It is what it is.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
So right now I'm just kind of working up the tree.
What are you working on, Jason?
I'm working on a San Jose, and I'm trying to fly through this because there's a California over there.
The big one over there in the
They want
corner?
me to wire, but I don't know how far I'll be able to get. That's why I'm going kind of fast.
I figure you're running through this pretty quick. What's the big difference between a San Jose and a Prostrata?
It's going to be the foliage, like the foliage here. You're going to get a little bit more drooping out like this.
Okay.
It's also going to hurt you more. So you go on this, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the difference.
Colors?
Also,
Is the color slightly different?
color, maybe a little lighter.
Okay,
A little lighter.
more like yellow green versus
Yeah.
this is like a blue green almost.
The Strata's going to be kind of really deep, kind of dark green.
Okay.
Like that. And then, well, it depends also how sunny it is and the weather at the time. But also the major one is the movement. So, well, I guess water. The movement in the San Jose is going to be naturally like this.
Oh, that's interesting. Never knew that.
That's why they're cool to have. So I grow a lot of these San Jose's because of that reason, because they'll have this natural movement. So it might not be at this orientation.
But it has more natural movement to it
Yeah, so maybe it's leaning down, whatever it is. Maybe it's going sideways, but it's going to go like this. It's going to go like
versus a Prostrata, which is
Strata
upright.
loves to go whoop, like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then you end up with really ugly movement. So you got to go in there more regularly. So a little bit more if you want something. But Prostratas grow. Both of these grow fast. San Jose and Prostrata grow super fast.
Awesome.
I had two beds. And I was comparing the two. San Jose's took off faster. But I think it's just because I put more water. Yeah, I think they just got more water.
Awesome. But that's
Done with love.
Huh?
I said it's all done with love.
Yeah, maybe.
People over here tell me how brutal I'm being.
Oh.
all right. Jason's been about an hour so far. I can see you've been wiring some of your little forest of trees here. That's right. I see you have put an anchor point. Mm-hmm. Is that for the trees themselves, or is it
Yeah, just for the ones that are going into
the base there? And it's just the same cement mix with the super glue.
Yeah.
All right, and that should hold for a while.
Yeah, it should. Till it doesn't.
Awesome. I'll come back in about an hour.
All right.
All right, Mitch. It's been about an hour.
About an hour, yes.
Yeah, so you're working up the middle of the tree now, I see.
And you're asking me if I'm going to get have extra time? No.
No. It's delicate work. So I don't know if people understand working on pines. You're really working on one pad at a time. So there is a lot of processing of where you want to move your pads.
And also, there's a lot of plating on the bark here, so I got to be a little extra careful.
If people don't understand what plating is, that's this flaky bark, basically, the age. So you don't want to knock that off, because you knock that off,
Right.
they lose the appearance of age.
So you have to sort of figure the wire placement so that you don't show, because obviously the wire is going to go against the plate bark somewhere. and you're gonna, you know, a little bit's gonna clip off. So you want to do that in the under part of the branches where you don't see it.
That's that's why he's trying to limit the amount of abrasion that goes onto that that trunk line. But
I'm pretty happy with the way things are going.
yeah. I'll come back in an hour and see how you're faring.
Great, and I'll have the profile probably in better shape by then.
Awesome.
You'll see the movement of the trunk, I think.
It's been about an hour or so.
Yeah.
How far are we right now?
I need to do the apex now. So I trimmed down this branch. This is a questionable branch. If I can find a better branch here, but they're not that long, then I might get rid of this one. Actually, I do want to get rid of this whole thing. We'll see what ends up developing over here, and that'll determine whether or not a branch better goes right here.
You think you have enough time to work on the other tree now? Probably not.
If I get this done in, what time is it? 11:30? If I get this done in the next 20 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but I won't be able to finish that one. I'll probably get like maybe 2 pads done. That's about it.
Hey, I know you.
We'll see.
How you doing?
Yes, indeed.
All right, Bob.
So many freaking acorns there.
All right, Bob. It's been about an hour. What did you do? Nothing.
Tree off.
This whole side's gone.
The whole side
It's gone. All right. So asymmetric
What do you
design.
think, Tom? Better?
He's not bad.
Thank you.
Asymmetric design. We'll see if we finish it in about another 2 hours. Plenty of time. You can probably repot it too.
We have to adjust
That's
the
way
height.
too much to do to a tree at one time.
Let's don't stress on the tree.
Way too much stress.
All right. Come back about an hour and see what it looks like. All right, Jason. I'm back after another hour here. Looks pretty good. The trees are in. So maybe people might not understand that. It's the why did you put it in different orientation? So
What do you mean orientation?
so the trees are not in a plane, like most people would put all the trees in the front. Why did you stagger the tree layout in this case?
Well, I'm trying to mimic what you find in nature. So if you look in nature, you look up in the mountains, they're gonna grow where they want to grow. You know, you have the trees that are dropping seeds all around it. It's not putting them in a row. You know, it's not putting them on a nice, even plane. And that's kind of what I'm trying to capture. You know, just the way it grows in nature.
And especially even though you're viewing from one particular point of view,
Yeah,
you still
yeah.
want to have a three-dimensional kind of depth of what goes with it. Awesome. Probably another 20 more minutes, probably?
Probably.
Awesome. I'll come back. All right, Mitch, I'm back again.
Hi. Surprises. I have surprises.
It's not bad, actually.
You can see where I put the wires. That's the front.
Oh, that's going to
You
be
can see movement happening in the trunk, and I'm getting the whole thing a lot lower and more compact and cutting stuff off now.
very nice. You got how much more time you got left?
Maybe an hour and a half.
All right, I'll be back in an hour.
Don't panic me.
Yeah, I'll be back in an hour. Hey, Jason's about an hour now. Looks like you got the top all done. Look at that.
I know. I guess it's time for me to work on that big boy.
It looks pretty good. I like it.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thanks.
All right, Bob. Getting there. No wrap yet at all? No, not needed.
I brought some, but I didn't use it.
All right. Getting there.
I had Diana make 10 bundles of it yesterday.
Preparing for this, right? Awesome. I'll come back. All right, Jason, we're on Psyche number 2, looks like. How is this different from the first one?
Well, this one's not really forest. The other one was meant to mimic a forest,
Okay.
like on a mountaintop. And this kind of focuses more on one tree.
Awesome. Okay, let me. And is this tree facing the front or this is the back?
This is the front.
Okay. Awesome. And then the other one, the forest, is this the front or is that the back?
No, that's just
Front on the side. Okay, let me run the other side really quick there.
I'm just doing a little more finessing.
All right, Mitch, we're almost to the finish line here for today.
Hello. Let's see. Let's give you perspective.
It looks
There we go.
from where we started, much different. A lot of the branches are upright, everything's down, all the paths are there, negative spaces there.
We got some movement now.
Yeah. Which now, for the person that ever wins this tree. Repot, not right now, correct? Because there's a lot of stress.
Too much work done on it.
Yeah.
It needs to wait a year.
At least a year, right?
The soil is impacted enough. I would do it next year.
Okay, so
Assuming you have a good grow year. I mean, obviously, health of the tree matters more than anything. Assuming it's a good grow year, next year.
awesome. All right, thanks, Mitch.
Thank you.
All right, Jason, it looks like you're working on the second tree now.
So this is in California. This is from the Huntington, their collection. So they just, it needs just some wire. I mean, the branches are in place where whoever designed it previously make really nice branches. So really, I'm just doing some basic maintenance.
Refinement at this point.
Yeah, just fine wiring. Basic maintenance.
It's a good-looking tree. It's healthy.
It's a fantastic tree. Yeah.
It's really healthy, good-looking tree.
Some cleanup in here would be nice, but I'm not in a rush to do this one. This is kind of a slow one.
Awesome. So, Bob, most of the trees wired already. Are you going to wire some of the gin work, or just kind of fine tuning?
No, I don't think I'm going to wire it. I'll do some peeling and twisting and pulling on it. The shapes are pretty much okay.
Would you, if you had this tree, would you line sulfur the gins
Yes.
just to preserve them a little bit?
It doesn't really preserve it.
No.
No, it really doesn't. What it does on the deadwood is basically bleaches it white.
Okay.
It doesn't really have any preservative.
Did you put the wire in between? I just noticed there's a wire band right there with a little bit of tubing. Did you?
here?
Yeah. Did you do that, or was that
Yeah,
there
because
before?
I split this. This branch right here is split from the trunk a little bit, and I didn't want to have it split anymore while I was yanking and pulling on it. If I remember, I'll take it off. It was more just a
Support at that point.
insurance.
Oh, you did split. I can see it now.
And that's just to lower the branch a little bit more.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, almost there. On the finish line there.
Welcome to our Sunday visiting artist. I'm just curious, how many of you were here yesterday? Well, us repeat offenders do know a good thing, don't we? Okay. For the few of you that are new to this, I just want to introduce Jonas Dupuis, who has been a bonsai artist for more than 30 years. And he does a lot more than just plucking needles and trimming twigs. Jonas keeps busy as a teacher of the Shohin School. He is the author of The Little Book of Bonsai. He's a blogger with Bonsai Tonight, podcaster and Bonsai Wire podcast, and bonsai exhibit organizer at the Pacific Bonsai Expo. He's chock full of knowledge, and he has promised to share all of it with us today. So please welcome Jonas.
I forgot to say he's a nice guy.
The length of the introduction makes me think I need to get a life. That's just too much.
No, you're busy.
It's a little embarrassing. Anyway, hi again. We'll skip all introductory, and today we're going to talk about pines, the exact opposite of everything we did yesterday. How many of you have pines? And if you don't, why not? Kampala, you have no pines? No pines? Nothing? You can't shy away from this. Do you have any pines in your garden? You do, okay. So, I was gonna ask if anyone doesn't have, I was gonna suggest going to any of the other demonstrations, because this will be more, I don't even know if it counts as entertainment. We're gonna talk a lot about pines today. Now, how many of you have found pines easy and intuitive?
Yep.
And how many of you have found good resources to learn about pines anywhere? What have you found?
Boone.
Boone, yes, that's where I learned mine. What about you back there?
Me?
Yeah, you too, actually.
Oh, sorry, Julie. I think, well, I was lucky to work. I'm a volunteer at the Huntington Center, so I learned a lot there from Ted, and then from currently from Gary Ishii, and then from Julian.
So from a lot of people who've been growing pines for a lot longer than me, so that's all really good. And what about you? What have you found?
From Ted Madsen.
He's a doctor. He's
Put
really
up,
good. He's a doctor or something. What do you say? He's a doctor. He's a doctor. He's really good with fly and stuff.
And so just,
Not the knife though.
no, I'll do a little bit more. Tiny bit more down here before we get up there. Yeah, it's doing fine. Depends how much time you want for lunch. I can have lunch at any point. It's true.
7 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make back. Let's see, in the front. Some people like. What? So in general, that's the best way to do it, but we don't have a good way to secure everything, so. Some people kind of set as they go, some people wire everything and then they do all the bending. The most effective way is actually if you put the wire halfway on, and then first of all, the perfect way, set it at the right angle, put the wire part way on and kind of adjust it as you're bending it. That's the way to get it the most snug. If you put all the wire on and then do all your bending, 100% you're gonna make it super tight in some areas and super loose in other areas. But I'd say, I don't know anyone that's ever even taught that in this country. Like that's just, and even in Japan, not many people do it that way. The only way you can effectively wire is if you know exactly where you're gonna be bending something. And most people don't know where they're gonna go when they start, and it's try it here, try it there, move it over there.
David Reed does that with his California. He'll bend and wire as he goes.
Yeah. It's a really smart technique.
Trouble.
That big
I answered your question. You weren't here.
He did.
Yeah, in great detail.
We went to no effort to find you, mind you.
We were all enlightened, and you weren't.
But we decided it was a really good question.
It was a good question.
Yeah,
And it was a great
really,
answer. Sorry
it was a
you missed
really
it.
good question. Yeah.
Really good.
I actually have a board member that,
Several wept.
I have a board member that I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to, who was supposed to talk yesterday, and he just disappeared. And so he walked in and looked at me, and I was like, I got time now.
You should have invited him in here. And the short answer was yes.
So when in doubt, just cut off all the branches and you can still make your deadline.
Well, there's that. That's definitely true.
Looks good,
Isn't that nice?
They're here to grab the tree. That's what
turned out really nice.
Yeah, that was his first inclination, and I liked it so much. I engineered it. No question. I just love it. He just threw in some shade and character and focus on it.
I really like the movement.
Yep. See?
And I know how it looks really, I love the
This is,
movement.
okay, so this is 2019.
You just leave that so when they buy it for their.
They have something that they can do and call it their own, huh?
There you go.
This is 22.
Because Michael's gonna buy the tree.
Right. And I'll take it to a workshop and he'll go, where can you get this crap?
Yeah, that's more like what's gonna happen.
We're working on it.
Is you think finally, and then very next workshop it comes back. That happens all the time.
I had that big user, that's a boss.
Uh-huh.
You know that's poisonous, so I don't really.
You need something to cut with?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, it was at my house. Just took it to him. You grow it, right?
It comes up with the same information that here, ask for an invitation.
It's been activated here for 4 years.
Or 40.
Hey Jonas, what's your hobby other than bonsai
Been in a box for 5.
and nursery work?
In recent years, hiking is probably what I've spent the most time doing.
Awesome.
It's
Lauren loves going on hikes, and so we tend to hike in places with spectacular trees.
You're by the coastline. You do coastline stuff.
That was our last trip. We went up to Mendocino, and we drove inland, and we tasted wine, and we walked through a redwood forest we'd never been to before. And then the next day, we went up to the coast around Fort Bragg and walked all up and down. We went to Glass Beach, which is where all the
used to be a dump, and all the glass is worn down into smooth, colorful pebbles along there. Most have been taken by people that aren't supposed to take the glass, but there's still some left. But wonderful marine life just right there in the tide pools, because there's tons of tide pools. And we try to do that trip whenever we get a chance. And then, yes, we stopped by Bob Simon's on the way home.
Just to look?
Not yet. You never want to go too long without visiting Bob. He always has good stuff.
Pygmy cypress and red.
That's like another 4-hour north from San Francisco, isn't it?
3 something, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not a direct path, but I remember.
Yeah, and the highway hugs a cliff. It's a pretty intense drive.
I don't like that drive.
I really don't like it. I used to not be afraid, but now for some reason, no guardrail, 3,000 feet above the ocean. I'm not as big a fan as I used to be of that.
I thought it was funny that I was cringing in the car as he's driving next to me. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right north of Marin, it gets pretty sketchy right there.